How's it going, everyone? In today's video, I'm going to be talking about Unreal Engine project templates. Are you consistently using the same starter project in Unreal Engine and loading in the same assets that take you hours to set up? Well, in today's video, I'm going to show you my exact project template method that has saved me hours in the long run. Let's get into it. Okay, so we are going to open up Unreal Engine. I'm using Unreal Engine 5. This works in any Unreal Engine that you have. Doesn't really matter. So let's just launch that. Okay, so we have this up, and I always use this one. It really all depends on what you're doing. If you're doing more for architecture, you can use that blank one, or whatever you choose, but I always use this. So we're gonna pick a spot to save it, and we are going to call it we're gonna call it UE5 dash UE50. If you're doing 5.1, you can put 5.1. If you're doing 4.27, you can do 4.27. But I'm using UE5, so we're going to UE5 underscore project template. I'll just keep it like that, template. So let's hit create. Let's go into the levels. Okay, now depending on what you're making, you might only need one level, but I usually like to have one level. I usually like to have one main level and then a few other small levels where I can modify assets when needed without using a lot of video memory, especially if I already have the foliage and stuff like that imported. So we can copy this, we'll have the main, and then I will duplicate another one and we'll call it main. We'll just keep it main. We'll just call it level 2. We'll just call it level 2 for now. Obviously when you're starting a project, you might have a different name for it down the road. We'll keep those 3 levels for now. Obviously, if you always have more levels, then you can add those now. But I usually stick with 3 levels anyways, because of the projects that I'm doing, the skill set that I'm at, it's what it is. Okay, and now that we have the levels done, let's go add some assets. So we're gonna open up the games launcher, and then we're going to go into Unreal Engine library. Then I have all of these assets that I downloaded. We're only going to use the ones that we always use. So the ones that I always use are the animations, all of the animations. So we'll add that to project. I have all of the animations being added in right now. Now we can add all of the foliage and stuff like that. All of the landscape that you have in your vaults, I would add. You never know the variety of landscapes you're going to be making, but it's always good to have the foliage in there all ready to go. Okay, so that's all the landscape. Now that we have the assets loaded, what we're going to do is load in some more assets under Quixel Bridge. We're going to go into Window, Quixel Bridge. Okay, sorry about that. I had to log in and now of course it's not. Okay, so we're going to go into My MetaHumans. I'm just going to load in one. I always have one that I load. So if you don't have anything downloaded, I have a bunch of them downloaded already. Download them. It does take a while, but now we're gonna load in. We're gonna load in a MetaHuman just so we have it. So highest quality. Make sure it's the highest quality, and then we are just going to import. Okay, I always like to load these in because it has these missing plugins that are enabled. You could just enable the plugins and then wait for it later. wait to import a MetaHuman later, but I always just do it so I can just enable the plugins. And we're going to enable all the missing plugins, and then we're going to restart. Okay, so now that that's opened back up, let's add a few things from Quincycle Bridge. We're going to go into plants, then we're going to go into grass, and we're going to add some lawn ones. We're going to download a few of these. Make sure they're high quality. And then we're just gonna add a bunch of this stuff. You can go in a lot more into detail with adding a bunch of these stuff. I always just like to add the basics. So let's close out of this for now. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to create folders to organize everything. The folders that we're going to create are metahumans, animations, 3D assets, levels, cameras, blueprints, and cinematics. The camera ones is completely optional. If you plan on using the default camera in Unreal Engine, you don't really need this folder. But if you're like me and have anamorphic cameras that I have bought, then I just put them in there. But that one's completely optional. Okay, so next we're gonna migrate some stuff. So we're gonna go here, we're gonna open up Epic Games Launcher, and we're gonna open up another Unreal Engine project. So the one that I have is just this one. That should have everything that we need in here. So I didn't clean this one up. This was a project. So this was a project that I started before I was using this project template. So I don't have everything cleaned up. But what we are going to do is we're going to merge a few things. We're going to go under cinematics. Cinematics, render presets. So we're going to import. We're going to right click, migrate, and hit OK. And then we are going to find our project template right here, content, and let's put it into, I haven't added one yet, so let's drag this. Let's go new folder, cinematics. Call it cinematics, and then we are going to drop it into here. We're going to select folder. And then we're going to hit yes. So that has migrated successfully. That's one thing that we're going to migrate. So we rendered that, and we got that migrated in successfully. So the next thing we're going to migrate is our camera shakes. So we're going to take this 3, and then we are going to, okay, you can't do it. We're going to take camera shake 1. You can't migrate it. Let's do add new folder, blue camera shakes. Okay, so we're going to take these 3 and we are going to add them to camera shakes. Then we're going to take this and we are going to migrate all those camera shakes. We're going to hit OK. And we're going to put it into content, and we're going to put it into cameras. You could put it into blueprints, but we'll keep it into cameras for now since is associated with the camera itself. And then we're gonna hit OK. So that's everything that I want migrated into my default project, and we can close out of this. So now we have this popped up, and if we go into cameras, camera shakes are all right there. And where did I? And cinematics, we can we'll have to redo this foldering structure because every time it does that, it brings it in. So we will move it to here. Move here, and it moved out, so it's right there now, and we can delete this folder. So now it's in the cinematics and it's right there. So it has all my render presets right there. Okay, so we have our 3D assets folder that I am going to, on my own time, migrate everything into that folder. It takes a while to copy everything over. And then we have our animations folder. Again, all my animation packs that we imported earlier are going to go into that folder. And then our cameras, we have our anamorphic camera that has everything there. And then our camera shakes that has everything there. Obviously, as I continue going on into a project, if I want a different camera shake, you add it and you just add it right here. And then we'll have my blueprints folder. When I make a project and add a blueprint, I'll just put it into that folder. And then our levels, as I'm adding my levels, it's all right there. And then cinematics, I have my render presets, and then all my sequences and scenes that I have created. The easiest way to probably reorganize everything is close out of it and do it in your file explorer, because you might get a lot of crashing. For some reason, Unreal Engine, when you move maps around, when you move these packs around and they have maps and demos, Unreal Engine doesn't like that, and it will crash. Now the last thing I want to add before I end this tutorial is I want to go into here and I want to go to import. And we're going to go to add feature or content pack, and we're going to add the third person. Let's add that to project, and we can just close out of that, and then we can add this in our folders, in our respective folders. I'm going to close out of the project and do it. So now that that's done, we have all of my content neatly organized into their respective folders. As you can see, click here, it's all there. Let me drag this out, and we will full screen it. So as you can see, in all the 3D assets, they're all loaded in there. Animations are all loaded in there. Blueprints, I have a bunch of blueprints in here. I ended up putting the dynamic sky blueprint in here and the rain material in there. Cameras are in there, and my cinematic folders are there. Levels and MetaHumans. Now that's pretty much it. You can take this a whole lot further if you wanted to. It depends on how complex your projects get, but this is a great starting point for your starter project. If you like this video, be sure to give it a like. If you don't already, please subscribe. I really appreciate it. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.